ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Welcome to room 7 of the first parallel station of LTC 2022. My name is Carol Novaintin and I will be the PIC of this room, and I will also act as the timekeeper and will be reminding the presenter verbally 2 minutes before the time is up. In this parallel station, each team will have 15 minutes to present and 5 minutes for Q&A. Each presentation will be moderated by the next presenter. So without any further ado, let's begin with the first presentation by Muhyiddin Aziz, Elda Ma'aliyah, and Alif Sutanto Hadi, which will be moderated by Pius Nurwidasa Prihatin. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So we will have Pak Muhyiddin. Pak Muhyiddin is sit here. Muhyiddin Aziz. Okay. Pak Muhyiddin is about to talk about the Pak Muhyiddin and friends. In fact, this is Muhyiddin Aziz, Ma'aliyah, Alif Sutanto Hadi, and they has done classroom action research to find out the improvement of students' writing skills. Now time is yours, Pak Muhyiddin, for presenting your ideas. Pak Muhyiddin. Pak Muhyiddin, are you here? It seems that Pak Muhyiddin is not online. It's not really online. The name is here, but it doesn't show up. Karen, can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It seems that there is something wrong with Pak Muhyiddin connection. Pak Thomas.
Yes, Pak.
Pak Muhyiddin, Hanskin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear Pak Pius, but sometimes it is not.
Okay, now time is yours for presenting.
Pak. Di sana jelas nggak suara saya, Pak? Is it clear?
Agak terputus-putus. Okay, now time is yours to present your ideas, Pak Muhyiddin. Oops, malah hilang. Oh. Just let's wait for Pak Muhyiddin to be ready. Oh, malah terlempar. Pak Muhyiddin terlempar.
I think he's got a bad connections, Pak Bius.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think too.
He is trying to rejoin the Zoom.
Yes, just wait for a moment.
Assalamualaikum Pak Pius.
Ya, silakan.
Oh, mohon maaf Pak, trouble.
Oke.
Mungkin
Alright.
akan dibantu Bu Eda nggih share screen-nya. Halo Bu Eda.
Okay. Now take your time and then just present your ideas with the classroom action results to find out the improvement of students' writing.
Okay. Bu Eda, can you hear my voice, Bu Eda?
Yes, okay, I'll try to share. Can you see?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Bu Eda. Good morning, Pak Pius, and all the participants in this conference. First of all, let me introduce myself, Muhyiddin Aziz, with a member of the research, Bu Eda Maalia, and Pak Alif Sutanto Hadi. We are from Madiun State Polytechnic. Our research focus on improving the students' writing skill by using clustering technique. We are interested to know about the student improvement because we see that at the first semester, usually students are having no idea, or they think that writing is difficult materials. They always have no idea when the lecturer asked to the students to write a paragraph. Besides this, they also lack of vocabularies and also got difficulty on structures. When we come to practice, usually they got difficulty to arrange the organization, such as topic sentence, supporting sentences, and concluding sentence, and also to implement the unity and coherence in a paragraph. Is it clear, Bu Ida?
Yes, okay, clear.
Okay,
Voice is-
next. Based on that case, we interested to focus our research on two problem statements. Can clustering technique improve the students' writing skill in composing a paragraph? And how does clustering technique improve students' writing skill in a paragraph? Next. And then this research is classified into action research, class action research, or the common one it is called CAR, in which we have 4 stages: planning, acting, observing, and reflecting. And then next video, and then the data in this research, qualitative and quantitative. For quantitative, we take from the student's course, from pre-test and post-test, from cycle to cycle, while for qualitative data were collected from observation before and during the implementation of the research, and then from interview and questionnaire. And then for collecting the data, we use scoring rubric in which focusing on 5 points: organization, content. Beda PPT-nya?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we focus
Have you
on.
seen scoring?
Okay. 5 points: organization, content, structure, mechanics, and vocabularies. And then, yep, next. And we choose clustering technique as first. Clustering technique is easy to practice, and the second, it also can answer our difficulties during teaching writing, especially for the paragraph writing, as it is applied in the first semester. Besides this, the first semester student also, it is the transition from senior high school and university level. So that clustering technique, I think it is suitable for them, as in clustering technique, there are some steps and also brainstorming step. In the activities, next video, in the activities of clustering technique, usually we asked the student to work in group before they come to individual writing. In group, they are asked to make the circle, or we give the main point of the paragraph. For example, we circle and then write professor, and then they will make the branches of the circles such as duties, research, journal, book, publication, consultation, and so on. And after doing those activities, we asked to all the students to cross the ungrouped vocabularies, ideas which do not support to one main idea of the paragraph. And after that, the students are asked to compose a paragraph based on the circle words that have already made in a group, but they should write in individual. The next, Vida. And this is the score of pretest and posttest. We have highest, average, and lowest. While we can see that on pretest, the highest score of the student is 80, while average is 64 and the lowest is 52. Well, for the first post-test, it is 84 for the highest and average 69, and the lowest is 56. Well, for the post-test of cycle 2, the highest score becomes 88, and then the average is 72, and the lowest is 60. And then we also can see the passing grade of this result. Passing grade, we make the score is 65, and then the passing grade, the result of the passing grade, the total of the students that the score more than 65 and below it. On pretest, we can see that above passing grade scores of the students, only 11 students, while below the passing grade is 15. But on cycle 1, it became 18 students above passing grade, while below passing grade is 8. And then for cycle 2, or post-test, yeah, on the after cycle 2, the score is 21 students got above passing grade, while the below passing grade is only 5 students. Based on those proofs, the writer can conclude that clustering technique could provide the strategy and activities needed by students of English study programs, C class, in the academic year of 2021 and 2022. Clustering technique also stimulated the students' effort in composing a paragraph and learning all the elements of the writing learned during the cycles. And at last, clustering technique also showed the improvement result of the student from cycle to cycle based on the score and the passing grade. Thank you very much for the attention. I give back to Pak Pius.
Okay, thank you, Pak Muhyiddin, for the presentation. Now we will come to question and answer, and then we only have 5 to 10 minutes for question and answer. Please raise your hand if you want to ask question, and you can ask directly to Pak Muhyiddin. There is nobody raising hand. I will start asking question. What kind of student worksheets needed for clustering technique, Pak Muhyiddin?
Pardon me, Pak Pius?
What kind of students worksheet used in the clustering technique?
Okay, we ask them to as it is in writing class or writing lecture. So we ask them to compose a paragraph by applying 5 elements of writing, added by unity and coherence, Pak Pius.
So is there any specific worksheets for the students?
Yes.
Is there any specific worksheets for the students to do the activity?
Yes, of course.
What sort of worksheets is that?
Yeah, during the activities of the class, we have a guidance book that we have already made, and then there are some exercises on that guiding book that we implemented combined with the clustering technique.
Okay, Manskin, those who wants to ask questions, please raise your hand so that I can call you by name. Another question, Pak Muhyiddin. What changes were made during the 3 cycles?
Okay. First is the perception of the student, Pak Pius.
Okay.
We use this clustering technique. First, we can change the perception of the student that writing is difficult lecture. Yeah, and they at first usually they said, I have no idea to write, and then it is difficult for me to write. But when they implement the clustering technique by grouping and individuals and the activities, they are enthusiasm. There were enthusiasm on the students to write, and they also think that actually writing is not difficult, but it needs guidance for the beginner because it is for the beginner. And it can be also seen from the change of the score. Of course, it is the proof based on the paragraph and exercises that have done by all the students.
Okay. No, still there are no person.
I raised my hand, sir.
Arel.
Yes.
Okay.
So I saw in the abstract that you mentioned the participants were English study program in Madiun State Polytechnic. So
Yes, right.
me as a future teacher, maybe can we also implement this clustering technique to improve the junior high school or maybe senior high school students? And maybe can you what is it? Can you mention how can we engage them, the junior high school and senior high school students to implement this technique? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Pak Pius, directly answer.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Actually, teaching among the levels, junior, senior, or university, this technique can be applied. But of course, the topic, we just differentiate the topic. If it is in junior high school, for example, it can be also used, for example, to ask the student to write about, for example, about daily activities and also description. They circles the activities, and then they also added by branches of circles and write down the vocabularies related to the activities. At senior high school also, it can be implemented. But one thing that as lecturer we should know, nowadays lecturers should be different than the past. Or in short, we can say there isn't any killer lecturer anymore, but we should implement many strategies to persuade our students in order to practice and also eager to study. Thank you. Maybe Bu Eda wants to add, or Bu Titi and also Pak Alif, the answer.
I think it is enough. The explanation for Pak Aziz is clear.
Okay, so now there are no person who raise hands. Again, Pak Muhyiddin, I still want to know the changes in teaching strategies, not the result of the students. The changes in teaching strategies during the cycles. Is there any change with teaching strategies, Pak Muhyiddin?
Yes, of course. At that time, before I used this clustering technique, I used the other strategies, but I think it couldn't work as well as clustering technique. In clustering technique, it is, first of all, it is easy because it guides the student to give the idea and also arrange it based on the circles words that already written.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Pak Muhyiddin. I think that is enough for question and answer. And then now, should I return to Arel or?
Yeah, maybe you can just directly. So let us move to the next presentation, which will be delivered by Pius Nurwida Saprihatin and moderated by Muhyiddin Aziz. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Bu Eda, you can stop your screen sharing. Screen share, okay. Now it is time for Pak Pius to deliver about the result of his research. Time is yours.
Okay, let me just share my screen. I involved in PPG, program profesi guru, and then in the program, the participants should report the analysis of the teaching problems, and then this is my idea to analyze this problems in teaching and learning English in school. First of all, classroom challenges are one of the many problems which become the problems of the teachers, but the teacher has to be prepared to overcome all of the challenges by using the teaching strategies. Therefore, the teacher need to have excellent organizational skills, communication skills, and then sufficient skills in teaching strategies. And then even now, there is a challenge with technology integration in teaching. There is a demand for using the technology in teaching. And then motivation and student engagement are important in teaching and learning activities. I believe that all of you have or agree that students' motivation plays an important role in the success of learning. And then the students' engagement, students' participation in teaching learning process is very crucial, especially when we want the students to have a successful lesson. And then now there is a requirement to accommodate higher thinking skills, higher order of thinking skills for the students. Students not only expected to use the memorization, but also they are expected to use their creativity, curiosity, and also the critical thinking skills. This is the problem of the teacher in today's teaching and learning process. The curriculum becomes an important component of education. I think that we all agree. But the curriculum subject will change. It changes from content-based to competency-based curriculum. Requires teachers to change their teaching, their learning and assessment approaches. Which, when we were on the content-based curriculum, we are familiar with explaining, we are familiar with preaching, and we are familiar with talking to the students. But the change to competence-based curriculum requires us to use more on activity-based teaching and learning. And then motivation is crucial in learning, and the absence of it may be the origin of problem. It can become the source of problem. Motivation and learning are mutually causal. Motivation creates better learning, or perhaps good learning will improve the motivation of the students. The motivation of the students determines and directs and sustains what they do to learn. So, without motivation, learning is not possible. It's necessary for teachers to motivate their students. And then higher order thinking skills. Today's is the 21st century in which the students must learn to evaluate information and creative and innovative. Students are expected to use higher order of thinking skills which go beyond basic observation of facts and motorization, in which it becomes more difficult to the lower order of thinking skills, because it requires greater cognitive processing demands. And of course, this may create difficulties in teaching. All right. And then also, we talk the problems in English language teaching. Students find difficulties to comprehend reading text. And then students' confidence to speak English is very low. When students are asked to write English composition, they get nervous because they do not know what to say, what to talk about, what to write. Pak Muhyiddin has found the use of clustering technique. Perhaps it becomes the solution. And then today, the schools also have the requirement to improve the literacy. However, the literacy habituation, both in home and school environments, is very low. And then still, related to English, students have low understanding about grammar and vocabulary. This becomes may become the problems in English language teaching. Okay, the research method that I use is, we call it harvesting. Taking the participant reports, analyzing teaching. There are 61 participants, and then mainly I use quantitative descriptive analysis. We see, sudah disuruh lift.
Time is over, Pak Pius.
Disuruh lift. Ya, perhaps ini apa namanya?
Maaf sebelumnya tadi panitia dari pusat mengatur waktu breakout room-nya agak ada kesalahan sistem teknis. Jadi nanti setelah waktunya habis, Bapak-bapak dan Ibu-ibu sekalian bisa kembali lagi ke breakout room sampai jam 10:30 untuk melanjutkan presentasi Q&A-nya. Begitu saja, terima kasih.
Nah, ini harus meninggalkan breakout room ya?
Masih dilanjutkan juga nggak apa-apa.
Oke, lanjut Pak Pius. Oke, continue Pak Pius.
Ya, ini problems with students motivation. Ini terlihat ya sebagian besar menemukan problem. 61% and then 39% finds no problem. If we compare male teachers and female teachers, lucunya female teachers, more female teachers find motivation problem. And then problems with teaching strategies. Mainly it is about the innovative strategies in teaching English. The difficulties of teachers to find innovative strategies. We see that 75% compared to 20.
Okay, I'm so sorry Pak Pius.
Yeah.
Balik ini enggak apa-apa. Ya ini teknologi biasanya begitu. Okay. Time is yours, Pak Pius. You can continue at least 3 or 4 minutes later. Time is yours.
Okay, I hope it will not be too long. So again, the problems is about finding innovative strategies. Let's see again, female teachers has more chance to have difficulties in finding out the innovative strategies. And then the next result is the implementation of higher order of thinking skills. We see that it's almost similar in balance between the teachers who find problems and teachers who find no problem. But when we compare the female and male teachers, the female teachers have higher chance to find problems with implementing the higher of thinking skills teaching for students. Okay, so this is related with reading, with English as a foreign language problem. Reading, there is almost a balance, 41% to 59% to find no problems. It seems to me that the teachers have been very confident in their teaching. The people who finds no problem are higher than teachers who find problem. Okay, as a conclusion, promoting students' motivation become a big problem for teachers. And many teachers have difficulties in implementing innovative teaching. And many teachers have problems in promoting higher order of thinking skills. This is challenging, and reading becomes most problematic for teachers. I think that's all with the presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Pius, for the presentation. Now it is time for all the audience to ask questions to Pak Pius. Is there any audience to ask the question? While waiting for them, I have some question, Pak Pius. Ya daripada diem kita. Okay, the first, what is the big challenge for the teacher in modern era like nowadays?
Okay, seems to me that still finding out the innovative teaching strategies. I think that like the problem-based learning and project-based learning are still challenging for teachers. I think the idea of teaching higher order of thinking skills is also problematic. That's Pak Muhyiddin. Technology, well, it seems that young teachers are very great right now, very good right now in teaching this technology.
Yeah, that's right.
I am very proud.
Yeah, and related to the question, how to make the teacher ready with the change of curriculum. Nowadays, the curriculum change fast, and sometimes we see the fact in the field, yeah, that the teacher needs to upgrade their skill, of course. Is there any good solution, Pius?
Yeah, of course. I believe that change of curriculum becomes problematic. The teacher, but I am optimistic that the young teachers are very confident in finding out the improvement and the innovation in their teaching and learning. Pak Muhyiddin. Try and try. But what is important is that remove the habit of explaining, the habit of preaching, change the teaching and learning process into activity-based. So student
Okay.
should activity-based will be good enough right now. It's not the time for preaching. It's not the time for lecturing, but it's time for the teachers to keep silent.
Sorry, I want to say it the right way. Selamat pagi.
Oh, good. Yeah, selamat pagi.
I hope that's correct. I don't know.
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so let me introduce Dr. Jorge, read his bio. Dr. Jorge is an educator from Chile. He graduated from Bio University as an English teacher and English-Spanish translator. He holds a master in teaching English as